Hey everyone, how's it going? Puntastic77 here, coming to you with some Team Fortress 2. I hope you're doing well. In this video here, I'm going to be playing as the Demo Man on CP Steel, and I'm going to be using the lock and load primarily and only, and the charge and targe, and the frying pan here when I'm out of ammo with the lock and load and I need to make a quick escape or I need to bonk someone on the head. So I've really liked using the frying pan just because there's no damage penalty, there's no little quirky thing. The only thing I would say that I haven't used it on is the sniper, my sniper loadout. I usually use the tribal mince shiv because when I'm going against snipers I like to see the bleed damage and see where they can go and then have my teammates clean them up here. But I wanted to talk about the lock and load for a little bit here, and it's going to transition perfectly and seamlessly, yes, without the seams, that's not included, to the topic that I wanted to talk about today. Because, you know, on the channel here, we don't like to talk about just TF2 related things and patch notes and updates and things like that. We like to talk about life and how TF2 is life and it can be related to so many aspects of it. So, the lock and load here, a lot of people do not like to use it. I really love weapons like this where there's just a lot of direct damage, like the direct hit, like the lock and load, like every other weapon that has direct shot damage in a projectile. And I think those are the only two, but if I'm wrong, chastise me in the comments about it. I love it. So yeah, I like using it because I remember the old lock and load only had 2 shots in it, or 2 little bullets or pills or whatever you want to call them, just for huge damage. I think it was like 125 per hit. I'm not even sure, but with this they knocked it down to 100, but you get an extra pill. So I mean, it's not going to kill anything with 1 hit. Usually before, if you could land it on a scout who was at just regular full health, you could kill him, or a sniper, just kill him. And that's it. And it would take, 2 precise shots to get it on anything else. And with this, if you get a crits on it, or random crits, you'll get 300, which is nice, and it'll take out most things, except a heavy that's got a medigun shoved up his ass. Now, I was always confused to why they downgraded this weapon. I think it's a major downgrade because for me, I like the higher damage output than the extra shot here. And I've really tried to get a lot better at these direct shot weapons, like the direct hit and the lock and load, but it's just really hard. I don't know, for me, maybe it requires a little bit more practice on my part, and I definitely think that's what it is, because I showed some pretty good moments of glory in this particular video, which you're going to be seeing a defensive round and an offensive round. So the defensive one will play first, and then that'll be the round. The offensive round will be the one right after, where we just had a really good charge for the whole match here. But yeah, the reason is because I tried to lead my shots with this. Same with the direct hit, same with the rocket launcher, or any kind of weapon like that. I really have a problem with trying to lead my shots, like where they're trying to go, because sometimes they just stand still, or I can't detect their movement, or I can't, time it right. But sometimes it works out pretty good. A lot of this times with these weapons, with this weapon in particular, what I've resorted to doing is going for just groups of people, because that splash damage helps a lot. And that's what I really ended up doing a lot of the time in this game. I didn't top score, I believe, in both of these rounds here, but we ended up getting the victory, which is totally fine with me. And the reason I believe that we were able to get it was because of my ability to land shots with groups and make people have to go back to heal up, or to go to their medic, or go for the health pack, because a lot of people, when they get down below, when they get in the red, basically, or they get below 100 health, they want to go for that health because they know they're weak. And that time really helps your teammates out. And there's going to be a great moment in this round especially, and you'll see what I'm talking about. That'll definitely help out. But you can just see throughout this whole round here, at this current point, I'm hitting people, making them have to go back. I'm not getting the final kills. My teammates are finishing them up for me here. But that 100 damage really is enough to make people have to think and move back to get health or go to their medic or whatever. But the whole topic that I wanted to talk about for today, I know I kind of diverted to the side of it, was the reason why that Valve decides to change the weapons and change their stats on it. Now, two examples that I wanted to talk about in particular. One, the lock and load, because obviously we're talking about that, or we're showing gameplay for that. And two, the Phlogistinator. Now, to the life of me, I don't understand why these two changes happen. Now, I'm sure there's, threads on Reddit or the internet or wherever, like Valve servers or Steam groups or whatever, that have talked more in depth about it, and I haven't done enough research, obviously, to see the reasons why. But to me, the lock and load was good the way it was. I mean, yeah, you could say that people modding or whatever made it overpowered because they were just able to aim for things and shoot, and that's it. But I mean, if people are going to cheat, they're going to cheat. That's what the VAC thing is for. That's what, reporting people is for. And this is the part I'm talking about here. I'm just going to interrupt myself for just 1 second. We're about to lose A. They're about to get their time. And I just came in there with the lock and load, was able to get some splash damage, and my teammates were able to clean a lot of them up, and I was able to get the kill for a lot of them, and we were able to win the round, and I was just really pumped up for this. Like, I think this is the battalion charge that we needed here. Like, I think about this one Flash game that was like a World War I simulator, and one of the special generals that you can get is like this guy who just like blows a blowhorn to like motivate your troops to not be scared and go out. And that's what I feel like my role this game was to just be like, come on guys, we can do this, let me show you, hurrah. And this, like, I just got so excited at this point in here, seeing this whole group of people and just not being able to land anything and only getting it on the third shot or the second shot. And man, but that's enough. That's all it is, really. If you can get a good amount of splash damage, 100 on the first person and like 50 on the second person, they'll move back. That's all it is. So going back to the Phlogistinator, though, I've honestly just thrown my hands up in the air whenever I see it in a server, and I just, I see a lot of people complaining about it. And they're like, this is horrible, why did they, make this overpowered, you make the thing, the pyro invincible, you get these mini crits, it's just this cycle that can't be defeated. And you know what, I usually like to have an opinion on a lot of things, like I feel like everyone should have an opinion on everything. But with the Flog, I'm just like, you know what, they did it, they're going to realize their mistakes soon enough here. I mean, people are just furious about it. I believe they're furious about it, and if you're not, well, maybe you should play a little bit more TF2 and see what the heck's going on with the Phlogistinator and try it out. I mean, it's a little overpowered. I don't want to feature any gameplay for it for a while until they make a change, because I don't want to look back in the past and be like, wow, that happened, that Flog thing happened. But what I wanted to kind of transition into the whole real life aspect of it is they did this to progress the game. Right? That's their thinking, at least, is that it will attract more players, or it will attract, people who have left the game for certain reasons. Like, oh, I didn't like this game. I've never met a person who's like, I stopped playing TF2 because the lock and load was too overpowered. I'm glad they nerfed it. Or the Phlogistinator is so underpowered. This is like my favorite weapon, dude. I gotta use it. I've never met a person who did that, but who knows what Valve was thinking at the time. Regardless, I wanted to transition that into why humans make technological advances. I mean, I know it's a little bit of a stretch here, but hear me out just for a little bit. So what am I talking about in this? So I was sitting at a coffee shop with some friends, and we were talking about Uber and Lyft. Now, what Uber and Lyft are, for those of you who don't know, it's a service that it's like an app on your phone. You request where you are, like, hey, I'm at this corner right now. Can you come pick me up and give me a ride? So you pay someone who's done a background check and works for the company to come pick you up and drop you off at a certain location. Now, it's really great. I think it's a really great service because, people who drink alcohol and they're not able to drive their car or get back to their house, really great. Like, nobody should drink and drive ever. That's a horrible thing. If you don't know to do that, right now, you've been living under a rock for the last like 20-30 years, because I don't think that it's been the cause of road deaths for so long, and Uber and Lyft are two companies really helping that. Now, this kind of started a spur of like a bunch of different pop-up companies coming up to do other things. So Amazon has this thing where they'll literally, in certain areas, they'll take a drone and deliver it to your house here. There's this thing called Postmates, where if you're at work or you're at, your school or whatever, and you don't want to go pick up food, you can just literally have people go pick up food for you from a restaurant like Chipotle or McDonald's or whatever, and they'll just bring it to you. And I get really nervous using these apps. So the Uber and Lyft I'll use from time to time when I need to get to a place that a bus can't go to, or a taxi is overpriced, because that's the only reason I use this, because taxis are overpriced or I can't get to a place. But I don't want to end up like the humans on Wall-E. I don't know if you've seen that Disney movie. Basically, they relegate themselves to just sitting in a chair and not being able to move. And I fear that that's what society will get to. And that's what we were talking about when I was with my friends at the coffee shop is, why, like, what's the point of this? Like, why would anyone develop this? And, you know, some people were saying that, well, there's a need for it. Like, it's a capitalistic thing that if someone's going to be willing to pay for a service, hell, I'm going to be the one to provide it. I'm the one who's going to be the Uber driver and make the money and charge people for me just to drive them a 5-minute walk or something like that, you know? But I answered just because we can. Like, why the heck not? You know, I think, you know, technological advancement is great, and yeah, you can say it's making us lazy as a society. Yeah, you can say it's doing this or that. But I think that it's going to lead to to better and bigger things, and that's not always a bad thing necessarily. I know a lot of people are very scared of technology, myself included. Like, I don't want to end up like the people on Wall-E, you know, where they're just stuck into a chair and they're like drinking these Slurpees for nutrition, you know, where it's just horrible and they're all overweight, and it's just a great movie. Wall-E's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's a Pixar Disney movie, really sad, you know, tearjerker, all that kind of stuff here. That's really what I wanted to talk about as well too, because I mean, you look at the Apple thing, the Apple products in general. I mean, an Apple product from 2008 is really good. Like, a MacBook from 2008 is not a bad product. But the fact that they need to create a market for it, they're going to release more software and unnecessary things that make it to where your 2008 MacBook, which I don't own a MacBook or a Mac products, I'm very much about the PC and just for a price point, but that's a whole different conversation here. But yeah, the whole thing is that they're going to make an update every 2 years to the iOS, the operating system, because it's going to make you have to buy it. And it makes this consumer culture of like, I need a faster iPhone, or I need a faster laptop, or I need a faster desktop computer. I need to get this thing. So, I don't know, just a little far out technology here. You can talk to me about the flog or the lock and load or just any kind of nerf that they've made to the game here, because there's this shotgun that I forgot what it was. I haven't used it yet, but basically people were talking about how good it is, how it's become. The one that where you load it up before you actually shoot it. You get like 4 shots instead of the standard shotgun. It can be used by the NG, the Pyro, the Soldier, and the Heavy here. But anyways, the game's coming down to an end here. Really good gameplay. We just went A through E instead of cutting corners on steel here. I really enjoyed it, and I felt that my, you know, gameplay really helped with the lock and load. But yeah, let me know what you think. You know, leave a comment on the video here. A like is always appreciated. Share this video. I don't usually make a pitch for that. And check out the Facebook. It's in the link in the description. Thanks so much, and talk to you soon.